Hey, guys, welcome to this video. Many of you are going to host virtual events this year. So for your virtual events, you need to have a virtual event marketing plan to guarantee the success of your virtual events. So in today's video, we will focus on 8 tips on how you can perfect your virtual event marketing plan. If you're new to this channel, we post videos with B2B marketing tips. We post those strategies so that you can grow your business and drive more revenue for your company. So if you like content like that, consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video. Actually, 49% of you said that you're going to host at least 20 virtual events this year. With this many events, it's important to have a very solid virtual event marketing strategy because oftentimes, marketers just move to the next event without ever looking back. Imagine you have 20 events and you're only focusing on the next event and on the next event and on the next event. Actually, one of the most important steps of virtual events is the follow-up phase. So if you don't devote enough time and attention to the follow-up stage, your events are never going to be really successful. They are never going to drive the revenue that you're after. So part of the tips that I'm going to give you today will actually focus on the follow-up phase and how you can keep track of all of your events with the right virtual marketing plan. So let's dive right into it. The first tip that I have for you is to prepare all your content for small virtual events, so not for large one, for small virtual events before scheduling the event date. It happened too many times to me that I have scheduled a virtual event like virtual roundtables, for example, and then the content wasn't ready. So what happened is that left us only with 2 weeks to promote a virtual event. And for smaller virtual events, your target audience is generally decision makers or C-level people. So if you only have 2 weeks promotion time, your sales team doesn't have enough time to promote your virtual event. So they can't reach out to people, call them, and ask them to join your virtual event. So always have your content ready, and then go back to your team, to your sales team, to your partners, to your moderators, and then schedule a date. And this leaves you enough time with the promotion phase, because if you put all that effort into preparing content and you don't have enough time to promote it, then it's going to happen that you have to postpone your event. You're going to have disappointed salespeople, disappointed other stakeholders, and this is not something that you want. So always prepare your content for smaller virtual events first, then schedule the event date. With larger virtual events, of course, it's a different story because they require a lot of preparation time, and it's just not possible to define all the content and then schedule the date. But for smaller virtual events, it is, especially for virtual roundtable, for example. And if you want to learn how to set up your own virtual roundtable, I've made a video about this and I'll leave it down in the description. So what content am I talking about? I'm talking about landing pages, promotional kits, social media banners, email campaigns, sales kits. All this content has to be ready before scheduling your event date. The second tip is to prepare and plan to keep your audience engaged, not just during the event, but throughout the event journey. This means before the event, during the event, and after the event. If you can provide an incredible experience for your audience, they will remember your virtual events. Everyone is doing virtual events now, so you need to stand out from a crowd. Actually, 49% of B2B marketers say that event engagement is one of the most important things to make a virtual event successful. And truth to be told, it's easier to keep people entertained at in-person events than it is with virtual events. But if you have the right strategy, it's definitely possible. And with virtual events, you have to know that there's a lot of distractions. If I'm attending a virtual event and I'm bored, I'll just write my emails, I'll do something else. So your audience will do the same. So if you don't have a plan to keep them engaged throughout the event, before the event, during the event, and after the event, then you're not going to have a very successful event. So always include audience engagement in your virtual event marketing plans. A great tip that I have for you is for small virtual events such as roundtables is to hire a sketch artist. The sketch artist can make a sketch of the meeting notes. So it's a unique way to provide meeting notes to the audience. The third tip is to select the right hosting platform. There's a lot of different types of events that you can do, right? But most commonly for small virtual events, you're fine with your video conferencing platforms such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and what have you. Those platforms are usually completely fine to host your virtual events on. The good news is that your company probably already has a license for this, and that's no extra effort for you to come up with a hosting platform for your virtual events. But let's say you are hosting a large virtual event, then of course, you also need to have a virtual event hosting platform, and then you can look at options such as Intrado, ON24, Bizzabo, Hopin, Cultura, and Intellin. Most people actually go for Intrado. So Intrado is a very popular platform for a large virtual event, but it really depends on your needs, right? So before selecting the right platform, consider what do you want? Do you want to have sponsors for your virtual events? Do they need to have a virtual event booth? How are you going to keep your audience engaged? Does this platform have options to keep your audience engaged? Is there waiting rooms, for example? These are all things that you need to consider. So really and write down your requirements of your virtual event, then go look at the platforms. For smaller virtual events, like I said, you can go to Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or whatever. For larger virtual events, look at ON24 or Intrado. The good thing that I have for you is to create a digital marketing plan throughout the event journey. With digital marketing, you're going to achieve a few things. 1. You're going to increase awareness for your virtual events. But also if you attend an external virtual event, you're going to create awareness that you're going to be there. Companies should know that your salespeople are going to be attending virtual events, and they have the possibility to meet you there. Because oftentimes with virtual events, there's a possibility to have one-to-one meetings. It's my personal tip that if you're going to attend a virtual event that's external, always opt for one-to-one meetings. This way, you're going to get much more value out of your virtual events. But no matter what, you need to plan digital marketing activities before the event, during the event, and after the event. If you do this, if you focus on a full journey, then you're going to get much more out of it. It depends if you're making a virtual event marketing plan for your own events that you set up or for external events, right? But no matter what, you need to increase awareness. It doesn't matter. Awareness is always good, so plan for that. If you have the right marketing strategy, the digital marketing strategy, you're going to get much more out of your virtual events. The 5th tip is to create buy-in for your virtual event promotion strategy. This is especially important with smaller virtual events. And why is that? I've mentioned it before in this video. Smaller virtual events typically focus on decision-maker persona. Your marketing activities that you're going to do on these type of personas are not really going to drive a lot of registrations. The way you're going to get C-level people to register for your virtual events is by personal connections. So your sales team, your directors, your VPs, they need to pick up the phone and start calling people. This is the only way that your smaller virtual events are going to be successful. So create buy-in from those type of stakeholders for your promotion plan. If you agree on your promotion plan together and on the timeline, the chances are that your sales team will actually do what you want are much higher. And without that cooperation, your event is doomed to fail. So always create buy-in. The 6th tip is to create an event dashboard before the event. An event dashboard is critical, especially if you're going to do multiple virtual events per year. So many of you will actually do 20+ virtual events this year. And if you don't have the right dashboard, if you don't have the right reporting capabilities, how are you ever going to keep track? How are you going to know the performance of your virtual events? How are you going to know which opportunities have been generated? Which leads and QLs from what industry?